to be done in our lives. My name is Sherry LaVon Harris, and I'm the host of His Will for Your Life podcast. This podcast is a safe and non-evasive place for others to be authentically themselves, unashamed, while receiving the healing, deliverance, and balance they need to become whole and effective service in the kingdom. Now join us for our live broadcast. Greetings and welcome back to another episode of His Will for Your Life. I'm your host, Sherry LaVon Harris, and we are in for a treat. This is a youth-centered conversation, and we hope that you are joining us with your children, your teenagers, and even your young adults. In this episode with Mr. Armstrong, we delve into the power and the potential of today's youth to shape the future. As the world faces unprecedented challenges, it is the younger generation that stands at the forefront of a driving change and innovation. This episode is dedicated to exploring how young people are not just adapting to the world around them, but actively transforming with the guidance of strong leaders such as Armstrong Armstrong. Please invite, like, and share, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
His Will for Your Life with Sherry Harris. This is your weekly Wednesday 7 p.m. podcast. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Informative, hot topics, testimonies, interviews, along with your weekly guests and more. And now here's your host, Sherry Harris.
Greetings again. I'm your host, Sherry LaVon Harris, and I'm here with Armstrong.
Yes.
But before we get into our conversation, I want you all to tell us where you're watching from. We want to keep a tab on who's watching and how we can spread our content. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing amazing, Sherry. Long time. This is a long time coming. Yeah, long time coming. I'm glad you're still doing your thing. You're still giving people a platform, and you're getting people messages and stories out there.
Thank you. You know we like you. This is your third time with us.
Yeah.
And this
I'm a regular.
Yes, you're a regular. Tonight, we're centering this conversation around our youth, but we also want to share with the world who you are. We know you're global already, but those that follow me, I would like them to know more about you. And so I'm going to give you this opportunity to share with our audience who you are and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, you know, there's a plethora of platforms I do have the privilege of standing on, but for which one we most definitely want to just stay centered on is the being the founder and is president of the organization of Step Up to Leadership here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and surrounding counties, which is an organization that's focused on young men from ages 12 to 24 years old, and where we teach and we position them in the career path or college readiness if they're seeking to go to college, but leadership and development, social and personal etiquette, giving them a sense of belonging, but helping them become that person, that young man or that man in general. So we do a lot of great work in the communities, in the colleges, as well as the detention centers, where we're helping young men reposition not only just a mindset, but get them back focused so they actually can become citizens of society. So you got to realize that this work that I'm doing, it's a lot that comes into it. So like I was telling you on the way in, Like, man, we've been out here doing it stuck in traffic, but I had to make sure that I made it to this interview. So
But thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I want to show just a short 1-minute clip, and I will share the long version after this episode airs, because I don't want them to go over there and watch it now while we're live.
got you.
Yeah, so I want to show this clip real quick, and then that will give us a gateway of what our discussion
Absolutely
be about. Where are you? Okay.
But I didn't have a father because mainly he abused me a lot. You know what I mean? I think come from the fact that I looked just like my mother and he could not stand my mother. And so he abused me mentally, psychologically. With times where I can recall standing in the corner for a whole hour on one leg, or either making me run my head into the wall. So I grew a hatred towards this man. I know he was a good dude. He was a good provider, but he wasn't a father. I know my mom had a good heart, but she wasn't a mother.
That right now, you are exactly where you need to be. Nothing right now is out of order at the moment or out of place. Sometimes life just puts you in some foreign lands, uncomfortable terrains. But there are some crucial lessons for you to learn, for you to grow from out of this pain. Love from this hate, forgiveness maybe from the sting, from a hurt, betrayal, a loss, or a heartbreak, or just faith.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
man. I thought you was going to continue showing it because it started making me think back a little bit.
Yeah. I'm saving the best for last. They're not going to leave up here and go to your YouTube.
There you go. Give them just a little teaser, a little
Just
taste.
to give a little taste of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much about you. There are layers.
So many layers.
Yeah. Give us a snippet.
Cool. Here's what I can say, and I tell people this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the more you peel back, the more surprises you see.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think my surprises is more so focused on how much he's overcame, how much he has grown, how much he's healed, just how much he has transformed. Because even when we look at the things, every time you look at a different level of Arkevius, even looking at that small clip, you know, it just made me think back, you know, that clip, you know, I mean, to me, the little boy sitting on the porch was my old grandmother's house. Like that's the porch I used to sit on. And, you know, hearing the words that come out of my mouth saying that I had a father, but he wasn't a father. I had a mother, but she wasn't a mother. You know, I remember all of those things. And so how I mentor young men now, it stems from that, you know, how I love my kids now and the way I nurture and protect them, it stems from that. So when you say give us a snippet, we'll be here all night. But it's to give God the glory, because I promise you, sis, it's that in these toughest times where we look back and see how far we came and what we overcame, man, you know for a fact, all we can say, God had his hands on you. And he did. He definitely did.
Yeah. I'm gonna put up how should I do it?
You got it. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to show that. I mean to do this.
Uh-oh.
Tell us who this person is. And also,
I don't know who that man is. And I say that with such a full transparency. I didn't know myself. You know, you're looking at all of those mugshots. Those are individuals that was going through something. That man was dealing with pain. That man was hurt. He had trust issues. He had identity issues. He had so much built up inside of him. He had so much resentment. When I look at every last one of these mug shots, I see pain. I see pain. And so that's what I'm looking at right now. A young man who had to overcome all of those things that he had to face and deal with. So, man. Yeah. You coming tonight? Go ahead then.
You know, I did my homework. Can you tell us a little about yourself and your journey to becoming a mentor?
Absolutely. One of the things that when I look back over the lives that I've reached and I've touched and I've impacted, I've always looked at it in a sense of, you know, I'm just helping the little men, not just little young men, but young adults, because it's what I needed. It's who I needed in my life at the time. And so, you know, knowing that majority of these women, these mothers who are raising these young men, you know, most are single parent households. And, you know, that is a tough challenge for many women who are raising not only just one child, but, you know, I mean, a household of 3 or 4. And you have a 14, 15, 16-year-old who's coming into that stage of who he is. And now you got to deal with all the other things. So our program was created to give them not only an avenue, but an opportunity and a platform to have a space where they feel belong, a space where they feel safe, a space where they can be vulnerable, but at the same time, a space where they can learn, they can build, they can develop. But, you know, man, at the end of the day, you know, it's really one of them situations where, you know, when I look back over the years, when we started this over 10 years ago, you know, it was something that I saw in the communities. You know, a lot of young men who were suffering from lacking of a father figure in their life. Many young men who were suffering from trying to figure out who they are, you know, and it was just like the stories go on and on and on and on. And so, you know, when God gave this to me, because I tell people I didn't choose this, God chose this for me. And that was the thing that I realized, like, you didn't do that time for you. You didn't experience that hurt for you. You didn't go through all the hell you went through for you. No, you yes, it happened when you was younger. Yes, you experienced those things when you was a young man, but at the same time, God kept you. I mean, because I'm talking about, I know all the hell that I caused and raised. Like, no, the lives that I did try to take. I mean, and not even just others, but, you know what I mean, even a couple occasions where I thought about suicide myself, and I was a young man. 17, 18 years old, thinking about suicide. But when you look at it, no, man, God spared your life. He spared your freedom for a reason. And that's to help those young men who need to see our Archivias.
So that's what inspired you to take on this leadership role with teens?
Well, I didn't inspire. God gave it to me. If it was up to me, I would have been dropped this. Like this is not, you know, it's even though when we look at it, you know, just like ministry, you know, when God has given you a calling, it don't come with the beautiful lights and, you know what I mean, all the great things and all the amazing opportunity. No, you're going to deal with some hell. You're going to deal with some challenges. But, you know, man, at the end of the day, I did not choose it. I literally did not choose become a community advocate, a youth advocate, a staple in the communities, author, speaker. I didn't choose this. If many people don't believe me when I say this, like, I am a loner. I'm an introvert.
So am I.
You know, and so, you know, with all the people who I'm constantly in front of and I'm constantly talking to, you know, if you ever see me, you'll probably see me by myself if you run into me. And so, yeah, but, you know what I mean? This is a God thing. God called me to do this.
Well, we're glad you accepted the call.
I don't think I had a choice.
Exactly. Not for a long time anyway. We can run, but we can't hide. How do you think your background and experiences have prepared you for this role?
I think it gave me a leverage. It gave me a leverage, and I think it gave me more of an ups, because when you're looking at this generation, there are so many people like looking for answers. They're like, man, I don't know what to do with these youth. I don't know what these youth. Well, Archivias was just like what they are today. You couldn't talk to Archivias. You couldn't reach Archivias. I was a lost cause to many people, and many people did state that young man would be dead before he's 18. I promise you. Or that young man would spend the rest of his life in prison before he's 20 years old or 21 years old. And almost. But God, Because at 13 years old, I was facing 24 years of life. At
Mm.
13 years old, they kept me as a juvenile. Instead of bounding me over to adult court, they kept me as a juvenile and gave me 4 years maximum. I came home at 17. I went right back at 19. And at
Wow.
19, I committed another charge, and I was facing 35 years of life, and I signed 10 years, but I came home in my mid-20s. So when I
Wow.
came home again, there it is again. You know, the experiences, the molestations, the physical abuse, the violence, the drugs, and all of the misdirection and no support and abandonment. It gave me such a leverage, because that's what we're looking at with so many of these young men today. They're experiencing the same thing. They don't have relationships with their moms. They haven't saw their father. You know, they're trying to figure themselves and trying to find their way. And so when you look at these young men, you know, they're looking at somebody. If I can listen, or if I would listen to anybody, I'd rather listen to somebody who can understand what I'm experiencing and what I'm going through. And so Arkevius Armstrong past experiences has given me a leverage and a platform that not only I'm the only one almost can stand on and speak from, but many people cannot speak and stand on the stage because they never experienced what I experienced.
Wow. Wow. How would you describe your leadership role or style?
Authentic.
Yes.
Authentic. I'm not by the book. Like my man Kendrick Lamar said, they're not like us. They're not like me. And so, and I think that's what separates me so much in such a way that, you know what I mean, I lead from a more of a unorthodox, you know what I mean. I teach what I know will work. You know, I don't want to tell you that you should be like somebody else. No, I want you to see who you are, build those attributes and build those qualities that you have, and people will fall in love with you. They don't have listen. Don't try to spend your life or spend so much of your time trying to mold yourself into this person that you probably see on social media or that you read in a textbook. Now, what you looking in that mirror, what that reflection is looking back at, no, that person is well enough. They are qualified to be again a leader or a impact or a influence, because you're looking at it. You're talking about a young man who everyone in his family had been incarcerated. Everyone in his family had dropped out of high school. Everyone in his family had battled with drug addiction or some type of abuse. So how can he, Arkevius, be qualified for such roles and in such positions? How can he be fit to be in certain rooms and sit at certain tables? You know, and if you meet me, a lot of people say this, and this is such amazing. Every time I hear this, they say you're the same person in real life that I see on social media. Nah, I'm a real person. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying, and I think that's the problem. You know, you get so many people that put on their suits and they get them titles behind their name, and you know, they try to run to the people and make people look up to them and make them feel like they're superior. Nah, I'm just like you. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a old sinner that God saved. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's how I'm able to be more relatable. And honestly, at the end of the day, my style of leadership is just me being who I am.
I was trying to think of that song by the Williams Brothers. I'm just a nobody.
I'm just a nobody.
Yeah.
Trying to tell everybody about somebody. Yeah.
And save anybody. Yeah.
Yes.
Whew. What strategies do you use to build trust and rapport with teams? You know, because that's difficult.
It is difficult. It is difficult. Don't rush it. My whole style is that, you know what I mean, be authentic, be genuine, be yourself. Don't try to force anything. I always say this: your approach is everything. Your approach is everything. And I think at the end of the day, if we could just look at that, just put ourselves in their shoes. How did we like to be approached when we was younger?
Right.
I mean, like, I don't think any adult right now would agree to say, yes, I used to love to be forced to do stuff. No, we did not, you know. But at the same time, you know, my approach is allowing who I am, allowing that to be what they see. I don't try. One thing I'm not going to be your friend. I'm not your friend. I am not your friend. That is something that is established in the beginning.
Okay.
But I'm somebody you can trust. I
Mm-hmm.
am definitely somebody you can respect because I'm going to give you respect. I'm going to talk to you with respect. And at the same time, you know what I mean, any young man who have ever came in my presence or been a part of our organization, they know what Mr. Armstrong number one rule is, and that is respect.
Mm-hmm.
And every young man, I don't care if you're 12 years old or 22 years old, I address every young man with sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? And I think, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at it, you know, they give what they get.
Mm-hmm.
They give what they get. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's my approach. Have we always been successful? No, we haven't. You know, do it work all the time? No. Sometimes you got to tighten that ranch up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because some people that you can give a little room, some people you can't give a lot of room to.
That's true. That is absolutely true. Do you often share your stories with them in the beginning or the middle?
Throughout the whole entire encounter.
Okay.
I'm an open book.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm not ashamed of it, but
Okay.
it's not something that the young men can use. Like, you know, young kids, you know, you got to be careful with these young people because they'll try to use what you experience towards you or against you.
Yes.
But you know what I mean, you can't use something that has actually been used for me for my success. And I think, you know, a lot of times when I'm talking about what I experienced, what I went through, it's always from a place where I'm trying to prevent you from going down that path. And you're able to look at me from a point of success. You know what I mean? And I think when you look at it though, I am successful in so many ways based off of where I come from. And that is the very thing that I know for a fact that most people take what I've been through and they don't use it. Young people have shared my story with friends, but they share it from a place, look who he is. Parents share my story with their kids, not to scare them, but look what he had became. And so my story is hope. My story is what I know is something that young people look at as aspiration and motivation. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when you talk about not traveling the world, not just writing books, his own, like you said, his own merch, his own posters, third book coming out this year. But the things that I'm doing is motivation in itself.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Third book. I only have one. Okay, I gotta
Hold on. Well, you probably got the second one. You got the second book, I believe.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you got the second book. So I've been kind of dragging my foot on this third book because it's almost complete, but I'm in a cliffhanger because it's like I need to go ahead and get this chapter book out about my life out and stop playing with it.
Yeah, stop playing.
Yeah, stop playing with it. Stop playing with it. I agree. I 100% agree.
How do you handle conflicts or disagreements among other teens that you mentor?
One of the things is I cannot, for the sake of me, can remember any conflict I've ever had with a kid that I feel like I couldn't handle. I've also been labeled by staff, you let them get away with too much.
Wow.
You know, but it's like I'm one of the people's like, you know, I don't give up on kids like that. You know, where a lot of people like, man, nah, you know, you got to teach them. You got to teach them. I'm like, man, nah, you know, just be patient. But I talk to them. I do have a strict policy. I do have a strict standard when it comes to respect, when it comes to rules, when it comes to things that you have to follow. You know, you get a couple warnings, but after a couple warnings, they know my favorite saying when I tell them, it's been real. It's been when I hit you, it's been real. It's been real, you know. I mean, but we don't keep them out of the program if it's something like a 6 to 8 week program that we're doing. You're just gonna have to go ahead and be dismissed from this. But hopefully, if you come back around, you know what I mean. You know how we flow from that point on. But I deal with situations that have occurred in a way, like I just said, with respect. You your approach is everything. I've had a kid who kind of like being disrespectful to his mom. I talked to him. I wasn't trying to intimidate him or act like I was his father, because I let all the young men, I'm not your dad neither.
Right.
I'm not your dad. Now I can't help if you feel that I'm like a father figure, but I don't take on that role because I know what comes with that. I know what responsibility and people expectations. Oh, I'm like a father figure. Okay, take on that role if you want to. But I deal with the conflict the best way. I feel like as a kid, as myself at the time, I didn't deal with young kids now. They approach conflict with conflict. They do not know how to de-escalate. They don't know how to channel their frustration. So with somebody who has more knowledge, who has more wisdom, I have to be the one that honestly keep myself here and allow myself to control the energy. And so I've never had a situation where it blew up in my face. I never had a situation where it backfired, or I had to physically or do anything to a kid. But for the most part, there's always been respect, because at the end of the day, there's a standard that you have to meet and continue to meet, not only to be in our program, but for me to have any type of interaction or encounter with you at all, period.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, you better believe it.
How do you adapt your communication style to suit different personalities and needs among the teenagers that you mentor?
And everybody is different. Every young man I've met is different. And one of the things that I realize is that, everybody that you talk to ain't going to get you. They're not going to get you. You're not going to be for everybody. So I don't force myself on people. Excuse me. I don't force myself on people. So I look at my style is that, it's like every room you walk in, you have to dress different. Every room you walk in, your tonality has to be different. Your message has to be different. Every speaking engagement I get and every stage I stand on, my messages, my deliverance have to be different. So if I'm dealing with somebody who, let's just say we are classified from a level 10 to a level 1. Let's just say if I get a level 8, that's one of the ones that mom, she's at the end of her rope. He's getting all type of stuff, and I just need some help right now. I don't know. I don't know where to turn. I don't know who to ask. And I just realized, okay, let's see how this go. You have different situations that you have to deal with differently. And so I've learned to, even as a speaker, read the room. You know what I'm saying? I tell some parents, some kids are not ready to be in group settings, so don't bring them to group settings. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what consists of in these group settings. That means they're gonna have to interact, they're gonna have to communicate, they have to be involved, they have to be attentive, and you're gonna be called on to speak in front of everybody.
Right. That's my son.
You know what I'm saying? So and so my way of reaching each kid based on personality, have I made a connection with every kid? No, no, I haven't. I think we don't give up, parents give up.
Right.
Parents give up because they're tired of fighting with their kid on the benefit of being a part of programs like these.
Okay. How do you ensure within your groups that everyone in the group feels included or heard?
Oh man, that's a great question. How we do this is easy. Because oftentimes we get certain ones that's very talkative. They like to answer all the questions.
Yeah.
So me, again, like I just said, read the room. We don't let people just come and sit. No, you're going to be involved. And so, even if your question is not as tight, or your response is not as polished, or or if you don't even articulate yourself in a certain way, we just make sure that everybody has an opportunity to not only just speak, but answer a question and to be a part of the dialogues and conversations. So that's just one of the things. No, you're going to get everybody know you're going to talk. You're going to talk. You're going to talk. And you're going to be involved in one of the ways we're able to pull this out because our programs are youth led. Each group has a lead. Each lead is one of the persons that we have identified to be a leader. And so they know that your job is to make sure that everybody that's in your circle, that's in your group, that's at your table, that they're engaged. So you have to conversate, you have to communicate, and sometimes you have to pull certain individuals. And you might see us give a certain look, or we might give you a certain something to say, hey, make sure you get XYZ to do XYZ. Because if not, you know what I mean, most kids will sit back and be very they'll be there, but they're not there. You know what I mean? I'm participating, but I'm not really involved.
Yeah, I get it.
You know?
What techniques do you use to encourage open and honest conversations?
I think it's really, I wouldn't call it no technique. I think when you look at everybody who participated in the work that we do, there's so many open books in this room. There's so many honest young men in this room. When I say our young men open up, they open up, and when they open up, they inspire and encourages the other ones to say, you know what, and that's where we may call on them. You're like, you know what I mean? Hey, Timmy, hey, what's your experience? And Timmy like, you know, well, I ain't had nothing, no experience like that, but you know what I mean? This is what I experienced in a way. So we just make sure if we want to label it as a technique, our technique is pretty much is just making sure that everybody that is a part of the work that we do, or the young men that we reach, as well as our mentors and our volunteers, the trainings that we do with them is like, make sure that you are present, meaning that even though you're in the room, make sure that you're involving yourself with these young men. And so always keep your ears and eyes on everybody. So just making sure that you're paying attention, because again, if I don't say something, we expect one of our mentors, one of our team leads to say something so everybody feel like they're part of the workshops.
Great. You know, it seems like when I was growing up, we had, you know, leaders that took an interest in us as, you know, teenagers and young adults. Why do you believe mentoring teens is so important, especially now?
Say that one part one more time.
What did I say? Why do you believe mentoring teens is important?
It has always been important. You know, when you look at mentoring, we've have lately for the last year or so changed our way of saying mentoring to coaching. You know, I think young people today don't realize the importance of mentoring. You know, they don't see the value in mentoring. They don't see the benefit of mentoring. They don't see how mentoring can not only help you, but open up other doors. And so nowadays is that I just think now is that mentoring has became, to me, since I've been in this work, this line of work, I think mentoring to me has been very publicized across the board. If it's from academics, if it's from athletics, if it's from leadership, if it's from finances, there is so many opportunities and a plethora of resources now that is for young people to thrive. So in hindsight, it can be a bad thing too. Because it's like, you know, when you look at us, like, you know, our generation, we didn't have these type of resources at our fingertips. We didn't have these type of opportunities at our fingertips. So now these kids these days in time are looking at these opportunities not as value. So now they're entitled. You know what I mean? These kids don't look at these opportunities and these resources as an opportunity to not only get to the next level. So if your approach is to show me or to present to me as an opportunity that you don't want to miss, then it almost comes off like, oh, you need me, I don't really need you.
Wow.
And so that entitlement that they have of not really having to work hard for something has really been, I feel today, has been the backlash and the you know the struggle with so many organizations that, you know what I mean, are we making it too easy?
Mhm.
Are we not giving them room to literally run their head into that wall? You know what I mean? Because it's both is necessary.
Yeah.
But you got two ways to learn, two ways you can learn in life, and
Mhm.
you can learn through other people who had lived experience, who
Right.
now, like Archivius, is trying to prevent, or you can just learn from your own lived experience. Then
Absolutely.
guess what? You would kind of come to your senses 5-10 years down the road, like, man, I remember my mom or dad, or they used to. I remember the program that my mom or dad was trying to get me in, but man, now I see how it could have helped me. But you know what I mean? I think now is that the programs, the mentoring services now age has become such easy accessible that
Mhm.
kids have that sense of not have to earn or work for something, because everything is almost given to them. Like, and we're guilty of it too. I'm not going to say we're not. Step Up to Leadership is guilty of it too.
Mhm.
We want to make sure that you have mentors. We want to make sure you have opportunities with internship. We want to make sure you have any opportunities of exposure. We just want to make sure, hey, you're in a space where you can actually have fun and thrive. But you know, what are we preventing you from, though?
Right. Right.
Because some things you're going to have to experience in life, and
Mhm.
there's your mom ain't going to be there, your dad is not going to be there, Mr.
Right.
Armstrong is not going to be there.
Right. That is so true, because everything is evolving,
Oh man.
if you will. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of leadership and mentoring?
um Step back, allowing the organization to be ran by the young men who we
Wow.
put in position, to see us grow in other counties, in other states, to
Mhm.
where we can look back and say, hey, we have a chapter in Atlanta. We have a
Mhm.
chapter in Virginia. We have a chapter in California. We have a chapter in Chicago. Um,
Nice.
I see myself in 5 years, not in this position, but I see young men who have been through the organization running it.
Okay. That is nice.
Mhm.
So you're preparing them for leadership.
I'm preparing. That's the whole purpose, is to
Nice.
position, because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal and the focus should always be: are you creating and developing someone to take your place?
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
ultimate goal.
I like this quote. Trying to think of his name. I think it's Jim Collins. He says, no, it's Jack Welch. He says, oh gosh, what's the quote? It'll come back to me. It'll come, but
Mm.
it's on those lines. Um, in essence, what he's saying is he before he become a leader, he had to follow someone per se, something
all
that.
all leaders have to follow.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with following. The
Right.
question is, who are you following?
Uh-huh.
That's the thing, because sometimes we can follow the wrong people that
Uh-huh.
can lead us nowhere.
Right.
And you got to ask yourself, to anybody, not just young people, but as an adults, as ministers, you know,
Mhm.
sometimes we get in the wrong room. Sometimes we sit at the wrong table. Sometimes we listen to the wrong audio. Sometimes we listen to the wrong advice. So the question will always be: it's nothing wrong with following. The question is, who are you following? Are they leading you to become a better version of yourself?
Absolutely. And here's his quote. Have it at the end of my email and couldn't even quote it. Before you are a leader, success is about growing yourself. And when you become a leader, success is all about growing others.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Our whole focus is help building, help developing, and help others succeed. That's
Mhm.
it.
Right.
My life is built around service.
That's what
That's
it's about.
it. That's what it's my life. When I look at what I do, and I've said this when I was in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
when I look back, can I see the evidence that my fingerprint is still here? You know, and that's what you want to know when you leave this world, which we all will one day. We all will. We are all here on borrowed time.
Borrowed
This
time.
time do not belong to us. We do not control the time. We don't control our life. What we do with the life God has given us is completely up to us. And so when we look back, can you say, I did his will? I mean, I did his work. And I feel like that's what my life is consist of. If it's on stage, if it's in the jails, if it's in the communities, if it's in the schools.
His work is his will.
His work is his will.
Yeah.
And his will be done.
Yeah, now that it will. It sure will.
His will shall be done.
It shall. In your experiences, right, or your experience, what are some of the main challenges teenagers face that lead them to the street life or gangs?
Abandonment.
Mm,
Abandonment.
mm,
Most fathers have ran out of their lives. Um,
mhm.
a lot of resentment,
Okay.
a lot of pain, and a lot of trying to just find themselves. You know, so that's why you have young men is leaning and focused towards being involved in something, being a part of something. And social media plays a huge influence in what our kids are seeking that validation from, is seeking that attention from. It's in the music too. It's in the internet, it's in the TVs, it's in the games, it's in all of these things where it is exposing our young people to try to be and do things that's not of them. So they're trying to find themselves
Yeah.
in this illusion world that we're in.
Yes,
You
we're
know,
gonna get illusion.
and it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Trying to find themselves and trying to find their way. And you know, a lot of times when you look at it, you know, that is some of the challenges they're facing, not only just with young men, with young girls as well. You know what I mean? Look at what they're looking at on a day-to-day basis on TV. Look at what they're listening to on a day-to-day basis, the artists. Look at what they're seeing when they come out in their community. One of the things I always tell people, the change don't start in the community. The change starts in the home. That's
Yes.
where it starts. You know what I mean? Change starts in the household. So when you
Mhm.
look at the parent, what type of mom is she? Is she the type of mom that when she may not be talking, or she may not be having different men in the house, but that 13, 14-year-old girl can see that on her social media page, what type of conversation that she's having. She can see the reels. You know what I mean? She's doing reels with her. She thinks she's her friend. Then, you know what I mean? She's doing certain things that is not of a inspiration or a leader role as a mom, vice versa. Because a lot of these men are not in the household. So therefore, these young boys
Yeah.
are seeking and searching for what a man looks like and what should a man be, and where are they getting it from? On social media, in the music, in the communities. And so you don't have that leadership, you don't have that example, you don't have that village. And so when you don't have it, you get what we got today, and that's what we're seeing.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing.
So I'm sure that there's a different strategy. I won't use the word technique. A new strategy that you would use differently from, let's say, just a kid with behavior issues not listening. But what strategies have you found most effective in reaching out to teenagers who are involved in gangs or negative influences?
That's where the old me come out. You know,
Hmm.
when I say there's different ways you got to reach each person.
Hmm.
You know, I think one of the things that I've learned over the course of years is that, you know, you can't try to be the safety net. You can't
Hmm.
try to be the cushion. You can't try to be the bubble. My best lived experience is what taught me. I bumped my head so many times.
Hmm.
I bumped my head so many times, and after a while, I'm gonna step aside. I'm gonna let you go ahead and run yourself into that wall, but I'm not gonna run into that wall with you, trying to hold on to you and try to prevent you from you running into it. I told you, I showed you, and I revealed to you. Now, if that's not enough, then God dog it. Go ahead. Let me know how that feel.
Yes.
The best, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of young men who are involved in gangs. That is a stronger force that any resource or any living being can come up against, because it's something that don't sleep. That internet don't sleep. So what a young man posts on social media revolving in some type of beef, some type of ops, some type of color, with some type of disrespect, that is the internet that does not sleep. While I'm in here sleeping, the internet is working. So we only can do what we can do. You know what I'm saying? And so, I always tell them, if I can't reach you before you get inside the jail, I catch you when you're inside the jail when we have our programs inside of there. You know what I mean? But you're gonna wish that you took advantage of what we offer while you was here. But at the same time, I don't feel like what we're doing is going unnoticed. It's not going in vain. No. But I stopped trying to save everybody a long time ago. I ain't Jesus. I've told so many people, I'm not Jesus.
Right.
I'm not Jesus. Listen, Jesus got crucified trying to save everybody. They didn't believe him. So, but at the end of the day, just to bring some type of reality to the things that I do and some of our staff do, we've learned, some of these young men, we can't help, right? We just can't. We just, some of them aren't that far gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about the negative influences, and we talked about gangs, but there's just rebellion. Let's talk about rebellion. And how do you reach a child that's just outright rebellious?
Oh, when you look at a kid that is rebellion, there's always some type of disconnection somewhere. I think it's at the end of the day, you have to find out what that disconnection is. I don't think every kid is just born rebellious. You know what I mean? There is something that transpired along the way. At some point, something happened, something was said, something was done that caused that to happen. So it's really getting to the root cause of it. Once you get to the root cause of it, it's really not trying to work on the kid. It's really working with the parent. That's what it's working on. A lot of parents try to come to us, and again, our organization in the programs that we offer, it's not for bad kids. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of parents looking to get their kids involved in something positive, something that is structured, something have a system that if you go through it, when you come out, you'll be an individual that were better than it was before they went in. That's the type of system, that's the type of program we have. But oftentimes that system doesn't work because parents have to also contribute to the success of their child. And most parents look at it as, I have my son enrolled. This ain't for me. No, it's a team effort. It's a team effort. So we offer 4 to 6 weeks parenting workshops. That is mandatory. It's mandatory that parents take these classes, mainly because what we're teaching, what we're exposing, and what we're helping your son with when they're going home to their reality and where they spend majority of their time, it had to be reciprocated. We cannot be here at the program in our organization planting and watering and tilling to this seed, and they leave and they go back and it's plucked out. Mom saying, or possibly saying, I'm about tired of your SHIT. You know what I mean? I'm sending to your daddy. Well, the daddy and that son don't have a good relationship. Now you done set off a trigger. You know what I'm saying? The list go on and on and on and on. You know what I mean? You know what? I'm about sick and tired of your stuff. All I told you was to clean up your room. Well, do you even realize that the only time you conversate and communicate with your son is when you're yelling? When you're always your tone is at 10 always. And it's because probably that, you don't get no help from the dad. That's number one that causes frustration. It's the fact that, that you're probably tired and working a job that you probably cannot stand and being underpaid and unappreciated. that tends to the problem. You know what I mean? Then when you come home and you got to
Right.
help cook, you got to help prepare, that adds on to it. So all that young man ever see and hear is hear you fussing and hear you fussing and hear you fussing and hear you fussing. And so they're experiencing things outside of the house. They're going through things. And so who they go to, who they reflect to. And so if they can't reflect at home, then when they come to programs like ours, they let it out. So when we give mom or we give the guardian or we give a parent an assignment, I ain't doing all that. Okay, then guess what? It don't work that way. Because if little John is saying, I mean, this is what he's experiencing, this is what he's going through, we have to share that with you, but you have to work on these things there in the home. And
Right.
most parents say, I don't have time. Well, if you don't got time, we don't got time neither.
You are hilarious. What strategies do you cover that you believe are crucial in steering teenagers away from bad influences?
Say that one more time.
What strategies do you
Oh.
cover that you believe are crucial in steering teenagers away from bad influences?
I always tell people one of the strategies we use just like I was sharing about the planting method. The planting method is when you look at anytime you plant something, every plant has to have good soil. Every plant has to have nutrients in that soil. Every plant, before you plant it, that ground needs to be broken up, and all of the debris, all the weeds have to be removed. And as you plant this seed, you have to make sure that it's constantly and consistently watered, and you have to make sure the sunlight, it get enough sun. So when we use so many different methods, so many different techniques. Let me use the word technique for you right quick. You know, we use so many different techniques that give them a clear understanding. Oh, I never thought of it that way. Absolutely, because if you don't tend to this plant, weeds will choke it. And one thing I can tell people about weeds, you don't have to plant weeds. Weeds grow naturally. And there's some people, there's some peers, there's some environments that you are coming from, that you're trying to get away from, that if you're not careful, you will find your way back. And you don't have to announce yourself to the community that you're back. Nah, they see. You don't have to announce yourself to certain peers that you decide to walk in a different direction so you can work on you. Nah, there is things that would naturally and organically happen if you don't constantly tend to making sure you're cutting things, you're tending to it, you're making sure you're getting the right watering, you're making sure you're getting the right light. So there are certain ways, certain metaphors we use when we come to teaching. I mean, I can give you a slew of them, and especially if I'm hosting some of these workshops, and if you know how I don't want to use the word animated, but I'm very hands-on, and I'm very like I give you a picture, and you like I like that. And so we just try to make how we teach our young people that is fun, that is engaging, and they're able to comprehend and reciprocate it.
I'm going to use the word technique. I don't care what you say.
Okay, use your word technique then. Tell me what technique.
Share about your rubber band technique.
Man, you remember that? You remember that?
I do.
Yes. One of the things that when we talk about the rubber band is that in order to grow, you have to be stretched. And one thing about being stretched, you're going to have to be okay with being in uncomfortable situations. No way, shape, form, or fashion that you can expect yourself to grow, thrive, or excel in any way without being tested. And one thing about growth, anytime you're being stretched and stretched and stretched, you're stretched into a new form, a new shape that even when you're released, you're not the same. And you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like if you look at Arkevius now, I can go back to my old hood, but he's not the same.
Gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
I will stick out. And that's when you're talking about growth, when you're talking about transformation, When you're talking about redevelop, that's what happens when you constantly stretch yourself, when you constantly put yourself in uncomfortable situations to grow, to thrive, to be more educated. When you constantly putting yourself in around people who's pushing you, that when you're looking back where you come from, it makes you uncomfortable to think of just to think about going back to where you came from. When you're talking about being stretched in an area where you have come from, where it almost killed you, when you're talking about it almost took you up out of here, all the hell it had caused you, all the pain it had caused you, all the depression that it has caused you, all the anxiety that it had caused you, the suicidal thoughts, all when you think about where you come from, and everybody that had not experienced these type of things, I'm just using myself for an example, is that when you look at it, why would I want to go back to something like that? When you look at it, why would I want to be comfortable in these type of situations? When you look at it, why would I want to sit around people if all we talk about is what we used to do and the things we used to be a part of? When you're stretched in a place in a way that you cannot go back to where you come from, because you have grown. Anything that comes from this to that, you've grown.
Yes,
you've grown. So that rubber band method was one of the ones that, oh man, I might have to use that one again. I haven't used that one in a while though.
Yes, one of your events, I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I need to steal that.
Yeah, please. No, it ain't mine. I tell people this information, it does not belong to me.
Yeah.
Some people, that's the thing that separates me from everybody else. Everybody spend their time in life trying to patent everything. I'm a patent. Listen, if you leave here tomorrow, you can't patent nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, even when you're looking at my shirt, believe it or not, this shirt was stole from me.
And it's interesting that you bring that up, and I'm glad that you did, because I didn't start seeing it until I saw yours.
Yeah. There's a few ideas I've had been stolen. Let me not use the word stolen. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I have so much up here that you cannot by the sake of me keep up if I chose to. So I think I came out with this about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago.
It was about 4 years ago, because I remember when we because we connected before I did the podcast, but I know it was within the 4 years.
Yeah, and what happens is when people say, I like that, they go look it up. Oh, it ain't patent. Let me take it. Hey,
right.
I had people. It's sad. A lot of people are waiting on you. And let me say this, and I don't know who I'm speaking to. There's a lot of people who is waiting on your idea to give them an idea.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of people is waiting on your ideas just to give themselves an idea. And so that should be enough evidence to tell you that what God has put inside of you, it is something special. I know I got so many ideas here. It drives me crazy. All the stuff that I be thinking about.
You better make a t-shirt.
Man, listen. And if I did, guess what? I wouldn't even patent it. Somebody else take it.
He got that for me.
Yeah, and I'm not sitting here trying to hold on to everything either. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I've told people, if you need information, or if you need my style of program, do it. I send you our whole layout. Just make it yours. Take what I got, make it yours. I don't care.
Right.
I just don't care.
Because you cannot duplicate what God has given to you. It's for you.
It's for you.
No one can do it like you, because that's your assignment.
There you go.
I had to come to grips with that, if you will. I had to know that, okay, this is what he gave me. This is the way he gave it to me. If anybody else do it, then that's their business. But this is what he gave to me.
That part.
Yeah. We have a few more questions. It's 7:59. You let me know if you want to keep going, or
hey, you got a few more. We got enough time for a few more.
Okay. All right. Good.
So a few is 3, a couple is 2.
Well, I know a few is more than 3.
Yeah, I know.
A couple is 2. Let's see, because I want to get to. All right. Let me just
Go ahead, do
hold
your
on.
thing.
What or how important is it for community involvement in your efforts and what you're doing, and how do you collaborate with local organizations and schools?
One, community efforts is a priority. It is
Mm,
so important. Is it
okay.
easy? No, it's not easy.
Okay.
One of the things over the years that I can tell you that I experienced, yes, the community would cry out for help, but when the
Mhm.
help come, the community hides.
Mm,
So, it's one of the things is that, I always tell people, how can you cry for something, then when that something comes, you don't want it. And what I say don't want it, I mean it in the stance of, where are you physically? Where are
mhm,
you financially? Where are you with resources and volunteer support? Like, those type of things. And when it comes to the schools, when it comes to the other resources,
mhm,
there, I only can speak for Charlotte, North Carolina.
mhm.
There's a nonprofit on every corner here in Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like, that's a lot. That is a lot, because now when you have such a plethora of resources
Mhm,
and just a short radius, it's like people get to pick and choose what they want to, be a
mhm,
part of. And it kind of almost put organizations in a situation where it's almost like a compete. It's like a comparison. It's like, okay, we're really not working together, but we're trying to show and display now we're better. This is, so it's a catch-22 in a
yeah.
sense. The community is asking for help when it comes to these youth, but when the programs come to these communities, you don't
Mhm,
you hardly see any participation. It's almost like you got to go out here and knock on doors,
right.
and you shouldn't have to do that. But
Mhm,
again, when you look at the organizations, a lot of the organizations are doing great work, but
yeah.
there is no collaboration
Mhm,
efforts. It's almost like a competition thing, and it's
yeah.
sad. It's
That
sad too.
yeah. Because I remember when I was in Connecticut and I would do events like back to school events, and
Mhm.
it must have been like several of them within the week,
Wow.
and no one wanted.
Everybody doing them.
Everybody's doing it instead of coming together. And I opened it up, but people want to shine. I don't care about the attention, but
And I think that's what, when you look at it, um that type of behavior
mhm.
is across the board. Is happening in the churches. It
Yeah,
happens in the
yes.
schools.
Hmm.
It happens with politics, and
Hmm.
and so on and so forth. So, organizations, nonprofits, they're not exempt from others that's doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Everybody's trying to get funding, and everybody's trying to, like, people are really, like, um, cutting people out of funding opportunities because they're trying to all put their hands in a pot. So there's a lot that comes with it. And when you look at it, we're all doing the same thing. We're all in here trying to make the community better. We all here trying to make lives better. We all here trying to assist and help families. So it's almost like, why is this type of mindset even, you know what I mean? Something that people even consider of being, what I'm saying? But it is what it is. We at Step Up to Leadership, we just continue to do what we've been doing, with or without, what I'm saying? Like I said to you early in the beginning of this podcast, God gave this to me, because trust me when I say, if it was up to Archivius,
Yep, exactly. That's how I feel about coming and showing my face every week.
you
If
know what
it
I'm saying?
was me,
If it
yeah.
was up, because it's a lot of work that goes into it. A lot of people just they see the lights, camera, action, but they don't see the preparation and behind the scenes, behind the curtains. And
Right.
behind the curtains, there's a lot going on. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things that's preventing. There's a lot of things that's hindering. There's a lot of things that's in the way. And so you got to get through all of that, get around all of that, get over all of that before you even come out and say, all right, here we go.
Yep. They don't see all that.
They don't see all that.
Nope. So I'm gonna bring this to a close if I can, but before I end this, I want let me just go ahead.
Uh-huh.
How can listeners support your mission or get involved in helping teenagers in their own communities or to collaborate with you?
Absolutely. First, I would like to answer that question about how can they support our mission.
Mhm.
Especially if you're local, we're always looking for people who can volunteer. We're always looking for people who can support in multiple ways. If it's financially, or if it's through your kind services, or if it's volunteering meals. One of the things, if you're a mother, them boys like to eat. And so
Yeah.
if we if we're going to put them in a setting or in an environment or in a room or around other people where we're able to learn, we want to make sure that we're able to feed them as well. So our way of asking people to support what we do is always supporting our mission. If that's financially, if you want to make a donation of $25 every month or $50 every month, if you want to just whatever what you feel is on your heart, you can go to our donation link, or you can, ask, or I can get the information to you as well through
Please.
PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle. I think we use everything. As far as donation wise.
Please
But
send it to me, and
I will.
Yeah.
I will. But if you're local, like in Charlotte, North Carolina, or surrounding areas, we always extend and open our doors to people who want to volunteer, who want to be a part of what we're doing. For that reason, I say, hey, just keep us in prayer, because at the same time, some people are not in financial positions to give. Some people is not even in the best situation where they can be there, there physically. So, keep us in prayer. And just that this work that we do, that we continue to do it while we're able to do it. So, therefore, our website is www.sutlnc.org. On Facebook is Step Up to Leadership. LinkedIn is Step Up to Leadership. On Instagram, we're step_up_leadership. So you'll see all the work that we're doing on those platforms and things like that. If you feel free to reach out to us, I'm very hands-on with our websites, but our social media. So you might hear something back from me personally before you hear back from one of our staff. So again, website is www.sutlnc.org. Facebook, Step Up to Leadership. LinkedIn, Step Up to Leadership. Instagram is step_up_leadership. Okay, there you go. And if you see anything that with this website, so we are updating our website. You should be able to still go on there. If it looks crazy, bear with us. We have a lot of great updates that we're trying to get in place right now. But that is the website right there.
Great. So I want you at this moment, before we come to a close, what message or advice would you like to share with any teenagers who may be listening or contemplating their life choices at this point?
Awesome. To any young person who have an opportunity to hear this message, I think one of the things I want you to walk away with understanding is that, life would teach you a lot. But every day I encourage you to show up to be a student. And all advice that you hear, if it's beneficial, if it's helpful, don't turn away from it. Receive it and understand that you don't have to be a follower. You don't have to be someone who wants acceptance. You don't have to be somebody who is looking for validation. Understand the person that you look at every single day. You are enough. You are enough. Don't try to feed in. Be the person who stands out. And I understand how complicated it may seem because, popularity is the thing now, right? Having views is the thing, and having more followers is the thing. Sometimes you can have followers but going nowhere. You can be viewed but not making any sense. You know what I mean? So one of the things I encourage you to understand how important it is for you to focus on your self-development. Your self-development is what's going to separate you. Your personal development is what's going to get you the opportunities in these doors. So your character and your personality need to be on point. It need to be polished. You know what I mean? Because opportunities are given to those who are teachable and coachable. It's not about talent. It's not about skill. It's not about who look the best. It's not about who think I am the best. It's about personality and character. So at the end of the day, for any young person that's watching this video, like I always say, nothing change until you change. You have to change the way you think so you can change your life.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm taking it for myself. So now I want you now to share everything about you. You're an author.
Yes, absolutely.
You have events coming up, such as this.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about it. Let me move this banner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what you're looking at, far as the banner, is building our young men for better leaders for tomorrow. Again, this is every other week, so every first and every third Saturday, we have these workshops. Every Wednesday, in between these workshops, we do virtual follow-ups, but we call them unscripted. And so, you know, these are things that we're helping our older adults not only build on a resume, but build those opportunities in networking, teaching them how to build a character to get in these rooms, and not only just get in these rooms, but to stay in these rooms. Those who are first time getting jobs, we helping them also with interview techniques and skill. Go that word technique. You know, strategies. So strategies. But you know what I mean, like just like I said, the things that we're doing with our young men is just constant work. If you're looking to be a part of, or like, when is your next event? We're actually having an event here in Charlotte, May 12th, and it's called Restore. And that would be May 12th in Charlotte, North Carolina, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's an empowerment workshop, but it's built around barbers and cosmetology, but it has more of a faith-based initiative behind it. But it is teaching you how not only to build your brand, your business, credit, finances, faith, and mindset around all of those things. So we are doing a tour with that. I just came back from Chicago twice in the last week. So, you know, right now I'm just focused on things here locally right now. But at the same time, again, if you're looking to know more about what I'm doing, like follow my pages, because I post everything on that. If anything that I got going on, sometimes I can't even remember half of the stuff. Oh yeah, this Friday we're doing a mental health around violence prevention here in Charlotte. So that's with Atrium event this Friday. Man, there's a lot. There's a lot. When I say sometimes I don't be knowing. I have a get. Listen, I really don't. I'm just listen. Half of the stuff, I promise you, I be doing so much, I don't be remember what I do.
What's your booking information if someone wanted you to their school? We know that you are in the prisons. You've gone to churches before as well.
Churches, right? Yes, churches, prisons, colleges, corporate, middle, high schools, communities, events and stuff, things like that. If people want to book me, they go to www.arkinspire.com. That's www.arkinspire.com. You go to booking, you see booking, and that's where you do all the filling in the information. Don't be afraid to fill in the information. Don't DM me to I want to book you. I'm gonna direct you to the www.arkinspire.com. You know what I mean? And right. that's how you book.
You have to. You have to set boundaries. And
absolutely. Absolutely.
So arkinspire.com.
Yep. Arkinspire.com, and go, you say click it where it say booking, and that's how you book me.
Awesome. So tell us about your merch.
Listen. So we got some new things coming, of course. It's the Me Versus Me, not change till you change. We got finished. Of course, it's about to warm up. I still have sweaters. We had some dope colors for the sweaters and the color for the fall. So we have some new shirts coming out. I want to say probably next week sometime. I'm just working on what colors to choose. We try to switch it up a lot. And the main reason why I try to switch the colors up, because I want you to keep buying. And you're not gonna buy like, hey, I already got the black one. No, we need you to have all the colors.
Right.
Yeah, we need to have all the colors. So there is some stuff that I'm working on right now as far as like what colors do you want to come out with. And I have a very large woman following, and women love feminine colors. They need some feminine colors. So I've been trying to see what catches my eye. But you got some dope stuff, man. Let me support you. I gotta support you.
This about you right now.
Yeah, you're right. So but if you go to my website, arkinspire.com, you will see the merch on there. You will see the book on there. You'll see the posters on there. The posters are inspirational posters. I think your son had a poster, right?
The one that's behind you, and we moved, and it's shot. So we need to order another one.
I got a couple because I got some new posters coming out.
Okay.
So you see them right here. Those right there.
Yeah.
So I'm always a person. That's why I said earlier too. Like I have so many ideas.
Yeah.
I'm a person who's not afraid to step out on my ideas.
That's why I don't sleep well. I always got
something. Me neither. I don't sleep well at all. At all.
Yes. Let's see. What did I want to say to you? I think that's it. Send me your information so that we can put links up for your books. Where are they?
Okay.
So people can get those as well.
Want me to send it to you now, or how you want me to do it?
You can, if you can do it now, that's fine. You can send it.
Is it in the chat?
Yeah, you can do it in the chat, but I'm going to do something in the chat now that we're coming to a close. I'm going to put up a QR code that's going to take them to your video. So that if you want to see this video, here's the QR code that's going to take you to that video.
Let's see if it works.
It works. Come on.
Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, let's see if it works. Let's see. I'm turning it around. Let's see if it works now.
It will work.
It's okay. Hit follow link. You gotta hit boom. And once you follow link, what's happening? Uh-oh.
Yes.
Look at you.
There we go.
I need to learn some stuff from you.
I learned it from him. Yeah.
I need you to send. I need that because.
Yeah, you do. So you can put on your flyers or put it.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Is that permanent? Is that QR code permanent?
Yeah, it's going to take them directly to your link.
Yeah. Don't get rid of it because I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, I won't get rid of it.
Wow, that's I really like that. I'm listen. I'm telling you right now.
You are hilarious.
No, listen to me. I'm scared to say this. I don't even want to share it now.
What?
I'm thinking about putting a QR code on the back of a shirt.
You should.
And on the front of the shirt, something about just something about you don't know my story. Ooh. And they're like, oh, it's your story, and they get to scan it.
Now that's perfect because it's short. Yes, that's perfect.
Oh,
I gotta get on it tonight.
Listen.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm about to do that.
I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to enlarge it so that once it stretches, it doesn't become, distorted. So the pixels to be on a t-shirt. Yeah. I was going to open up the lines for conversation, but I'm not going to do that.
My mind on his shirt. I'm like,
yeah. While you're on, let's do this. Please join us next week. We're going to continue in this conversation on monitoring spirits real. This is part 2. You asked for it. We're presenting it to you again. And perhaps I'll do a little more talking as well on this topic. So please join us next week. Let's Talk Real Talk with Apostle Michelle and Pastor Sherry. So we will see you all next week. If you would like to purchase this shirt, it's okay not to be okay, just as long as you don't stay in that place. You can find that on j2911-brand.com.
Now, what you in Virginia?
Yes.
When you coming to Charlotte?
I know. I'm thinking about it. I need to come through there. It's like 5 hours away.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's time to take the show on the road.
Time to take this show. I am working on it. I'm trying to see how to do this a live show though. We're going to do a live show, but it's going to be with the panel. So because some of us haven't met, I think 2 of us I've met everyone but 2 in person.
Okay.
Yeah, on our panel. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, actually 3 I haven't met in person, but the rest have. So we're planning on doing a live show. Maybe we will take it to North Carolina.
And listen, why not take it to Charlotte, where Charlotte is really like the 16th largest city?
Really? Okay.
16 and growing. So there's a lot of great things about Charlotte.
Okay.
There's a lot of great things about Charlotte.
Great. So we're going to come to a close. I know everybody's probably switched over watching your video by now. And make sure that you like and subscribe to his channel, please, while you're over there using that QR code.
Yeah, get the QR code because I'm about to put this on a shirt. I think that's a dope idea, though.
That is a dope idea.
That's a dope idea because I've seen people put their Instagram stuff on a shirt. Follow me.
Watching this video.
Yeah, so now people gonna be walking behind me in a mall or somewhere, scanning it like, oh,
absolutely. No, and then put one on your sleeve for bookings.
For booking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna think about that one.
Yeah. You might
have a shirt full of QR codes.
Absolutely. For the back of your cap.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Left sleeve booking, right sleeve, you know what I mean? Consultation.
Right.
Yeah.
Good night, Bob. Yeah. Well, this has been real. This is good. We always have a great conversation. I will send that over to you shortly. Thank you for gracing us with your presence again and your insight, even though you didn't talk much about yourself, but
you know what?
I have your information now.
You know what? I do, and it is almost like we'll do a part 2. We're
it was funny. I was thinking about doing a part 2.
Beat you to it.
Yeah,
beat you to it. Because I think tonight was about the organization. You know what I mean? About the young men. You know what I'm saying? So I think tonight was perfect. It was the information in what we do, what I do, why I do what I do with the young men. So I think we can do something. Matter of fact,
one Ark Inspire.
There we go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah,
we can definitely do that.
Yeah, but just let me know your availability and we'll
let's not make it 2 more years.
No, not 2 more years.
Make it 2-3 more years.
Right. Well, congratulations on all that you're doing. You're doing a marvelous job. I'm watching you from a distance, and I'm applauding you as well.
I appreciate it.
I'm proud of you. I'm excited about what Yah is doing in your life and the doors and the opportunities that He has presented for you. It's just amazing. I see your last video that I watched. It made me cry, and I was so mad. I was mad at that little girl.
The little girl.
Yeah, that was that was inspiring.
You know that experience, that encounter with that little girl.
Yeah.
It was I needed that. I did. I needed that. I needed that was a reminder to me. That's all it was. And it just, to me, even though I often don't realize how much of an impact I have.
Mhm.
I just don't. I'm not somebody who is measuring my success.
Mhm.
I'm not measuring the progress. I'm not measuring. I'm just not. I'm just focused on doing the work. And so that little girl was a reminder that the work you do, the messages that you put out,
It
it is
matters.
help. It matters. It is saving somebody's life,
Mhm.
even when you probably don't even realize it.
Absolutely.
It's saving somebody's life. So I told her, you don't know how that blessed me to hear
Mhm.
that, because you know what I mean, I'm not, you know, most people get in this position, they do it for the attention,
Mhm.
they do it for the position, they do it
Mhm.
for the accolades, they want the stages.
Right.
I don't want the stages.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Nope.
saying? Like, you
You
know what I'm
can
saying?
have
Like,
it.
I don't do it to have an audience.
Mhm.
I don't do it for people to scream my name. And so and that's how and why I know
Mhm.
God is going to keep positioning me
Yes.
the way he is, because it's not about me.
Mm-mm.
And so it's so hard sometimes when people say, tell us about you. And it's just like, in my mind, I'm like, it's not about me, you know,
Mhm.
but, you know, and it's just like, I can, sometimes I watch people like they're so fluently just flow, just tell people about them. Oh, I do. And I'm just like, and I'm just, you know, and to
And
me,
that's I like authenticity. That's why I don't give my guests questions beforehand,
mhm,
because I want them to be authentic. But rarely do I ever ask them a question that they won't have the answer to. I'm not
right,
out here trying to embarrass anyone or put them on the spot. I do my research before interviewing, and um, I like it to be authentic.
right,
When
right.
they ask the questions, and some questions may come up while we're having this conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's always a pleasure. And
Yes, sir.
and so, I take all things um with so much appreciation. So
Yes.
your platform for me is a blessing. So I know you saying you bless me. Nah, you
Mhm.
bless me too. So it's always a pleasure to get the opportunity to come here and, I mean, have these conversations,
Yes.
and things like that. I'm gonna connect somebody with you from out of Chicago. He has an
Okay.
amazing platform, and it's about sexual abuse.
Okay.
And it's just, man, he got an amazing, he write books, he's written multiple books, but when I was in Chicago, that's who had me out there. But I
Okay.
told him, I'm like, wow, this is interesting, because I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not talked about often.
Mhm. Mm-mm.
Men talking about the sexual abuse.
See?
You hear women
Mhm.
oftentimes talk about the
Right.
sexual abuse, but you
Right.
don't hear men. And so
Absolutely.
he created a platform, and I think I'm gonna make sure I make that connection
Yes,
to the
please
two of
do.
you guys. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I love to get him connected with you.
Great. Awesome. Thank you again.
No, anytime.
Really appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Remember, it's okay not to be okay, just as long as you don't stay in that place. Join us next week for part 2 of our Monitoring Spirits Real. We'll see you next time. Have a safe rest of the week, and have a good night.
Love it.
All righty. Good night, everyone. Where am I? I don't even know where. I'm so tired. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Join us again next week for another riveting, informative segment of His Will for Your Life podcast with Sherry and our special guest,